I did hear the cult leader would hook up with the moms, and he was never sober. That's what I heard.
Oh.
So.
Wait, cult leader?
Yeah.
It was basically a cult. Texas was investigating them. I was the snitch. I went to...
Huh?
I talked to this detective and I like went to a government building and like they did the recording thing and I had to send photos
About
with like names, Epstein file style, about the group and the school and the whole thing.
Holy shit.
Family brings joy, it's childhood destroyed. Hey, it's Tammy's boy. Tammy's boy, Tammy's boy. Hey, it's Tammy's boy.
Tammy's Boy Podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. Jon Carden is not a licensed therapist. He is just a friend.
All right, welcome on in, everybody. You know what this is. It's another episode of Tammy's Boy. Thank you for joining. You know me. I'm Jon Carden. By this point, you should know I've got more childhood trauma than Sesame Street has numbers and letters. So, thank you for coming in. And before we get started, how about a little word from my buddy, Mr. Colt Garrett?
Guys, how in the hell are we doing? We got a great episode for you today, as always. The full video is going to be available on YouTube and Spotify. Please make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching it because it really helps us out. And we got a lot of more special guests coming your way. Also, if you guys have your own crazy stories about your parents or family or anything in general, write them into the show. You can email us at tammy'sboypodcast@gmail.com. Guys, that's enough out of me. John, who the hell we got on the couch today?
Well, Tammy's kids, today we've got a good friend of mine. We got a lot of cool guests coming up, and I'm excited about it. And this is one of the cool guests I've been excited about because we've been friends now for like 5 years, I would say. Like, we've been cool for 5 years. You've watched my kids.
That's true.
Which is like, yeah, that's. I think you're probably the first person I ever had on the pod that like knows me as a father like that, and has seen me around the kids.
And my best friend does their hair.
And your best friend does their hair. That's true. It's funny how we're all connected. But anyway, everybody, it's Dulce Mac.
What's up?
But yeah, my kids like you, and they still ask because I don't have a lot of people around my kids. Like it's a
That's
short
probably
list.
good. It's
a short list. And most of them are female comics and like maybe Scott Fillmore. Just was like
that checks out.
I would trust Scott with like my last $5 to my, I don't know why. There's just something about him.
He has like mother stripper energy.
Does have mother stripper energy. I always compare him to Doc from the Seven Dwarfs. Like of all the dwarfs I would feel safest with, it would be Doc.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't remember all the dwarfs like that. It's because of my trauma, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The prince never came and kissed you.
Yeah. No, I can't remember a lot from like, I don't know, 1 to 14.
So a lot of it's repressed. Mm-hmm. All right. So we always start this off real simply. It's the question is who raised you, but before we get to that, let's go back to where we were. And 1 to 14, it's blanked out.
Pretty much.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess I don't remember.
That's fair.
No, I had a lot of issues like with my mom, and then I was mostly close to my grandma, and then she died, and then I think I just blocked everything out.
You were really close to your grandma?
Yeah, my dad's mom.
Oh, your dad's mom. Okay. Well, what about her did you love?
Everything. She was the greatest woman that ever lived.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me more, dude. Like,
she was just like really cool. She like wouldn't lie about anything. She would just like tell it how it is, make fun of you. She would curse a lot.
So what you're saying is to you, she was the greatest person in the world. But 100 other people, she was probably that old bitch.
Maybe if you did her wrong.
Yeah.
One time this kid beat me up and she took me to their house so I would beat them up. She said, "How dare you come back crying like a little bitch."
I love her.
What'd you do?
Yeah. I tried to beat the other girl up.
How'd it go?
They separated us, but she probably would have won. She was really big.
Yeah, you don't know that. Don't put yourself down like that.
That's sad when grandma pulls you up for your second loss of the day.
The girl never fucked with me again. So
hey, there's something to be said for that though, right? I like
That's a
that,
point.
man.
Yeah.
Hey, confront the problem head on, dude. Granny was a G.
Did you learn? What was your takeaway from that? Looking back on it now.
Well, that was insane. But the rest
Don't
of
get
my
any life lessons from that, John.
I wouldn't do it again. But I appreciated the principle. Yeah. Don't let people publicly embarrass you.
Yeah, I mean, shit was done differently then too. It's not done the same. And that honestly, like in the 90s, early 2000s, I think we fought more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
My grandpa also did crazy stuff. Her husband.
What kind of stuff did Grandpa do?
One time my aunt and my dad were arguing forever. Like they wouldn't stop. So he tied them up together until they stopped fighting.
Hey, kids. I've got a Vietnamese rope trick just in case you can't mind your manners.
I'm telling you, they were crazy, but
That's insane.
love them.
But also, hey, you know, I bet they got along for a while.
Yeah.
They would go to arguing and then instead of picking up a belt, they're just picking up rope. Remember?
Yeah. Until the great cheating of 1999.
Oh man. So what was your mom and dad like?
My dad worked a lot. He's like an engineer. He is the nicest man ever. My mom, she was kind of a bitch and we didn't really get along. Like we didn't really talk. Yeah.
What's that like?
It's kind of like having a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Or, you know, in my case, it was kind of like having a wife.
Okay.
My mom very much at times when she wasn't with a dude, I was like her husband, but
Okay.
it was very platonic.
Right. I see. You took on like random husband duties.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Even protection was one of them at times from the guy she was dating.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, tell me about it.
And
I got-
Tammy probably likes some insane people like me.
Yes. She had a taste, dude. I mean, if they were imbalanced, my mom was like Bugs Bunny smelling stew. Like she just floated to the dick. It was insane. It was like she could like almost like turn transparent and pass through them, enter them, become them.
Love her.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Venezuela. I was born in Valencia, which is closer to Colombia. Okay. And then when I was 7, I moved to the other side, to Barcelona. It's like a beach town. So I grew up in like a really nice beach area, and like all the neighborhoods were on water, and we got around in boats and stuff.
Well, that sounds idyllic.
Yeah, and then I moved to Houston at 13.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was a culture shock.
I bet. Yeah, you're going from like a peaceful village in Venezuela, like just happy as shit, to like an H town, the dirty third.
Yeah, it was not a village.
Listen, let me paint the picture, Dulce. Let me paint the picture. It was a metropolis.
Think like Venice, Italy, and like Colombia combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you're saying I was just very, very wrong.
Yeah. I did grow up comfortably.
Yeah. Dad was an engineer.
Yeah.
And engineers typically.
And my mom was a bitch.
And my mom was a professional.
Yeah.
Well, did she have a job?
No, she does now because she was like, I'm bored. So she like takes care of kids and like is a massage therapist.
Okay.
And now she does Reiki.
No way.
Yeah.
Like energy healing?
Yeah. And she doesn't lose her temper ever. If I'm ever like rude, she sends like a person like trying to hug you, and she's like, I hope you have good energy come through today or something. Like she does not argue at all.
That's worse.
Yeah.
I think that's way worse. Like, don't take the high road all the time.
Always.
Come down here with me and fight every now and then.
No, she won't.
And when you were younger, was she more scrappy? Did you guys get into it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is like her like born again thing where, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she was there. We just didn't really talk a lot. And I had like an au pair, so the lady was with me most of the time.
An au pair.
Yeah, like a lady that lived with us.
You had a nanny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I have my own nanny.
What is the difference between an au pair and a nanny?
The au pair like lives with you. Like they can go do whatever they want, but they like live there.
Okay. I didn't realize I was talking to Venezuelan royalty. I had no doubt I was talking to the princess of Venezuela. That's crazy.
That's where the oil money went.
The country used to be rich.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
It did used to be rich until corruption, and we're not going to get into that. But
yeah, Trump really pulled my grandma with that.
Yeah, he
like,
pulled up.
Some just insane pull up.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Trump is the guy to pull up, dude. When everybody's like, hey, pull up. Trump's like, he's like, all right, I'll see you in a minute.
We're going to do the craziest drive-by.
Oh, man, I can see
so
Trump.
many bullets. The best bullets that have ever been made.
Oh, dude. I wish I could. I suck at impressions. I'm so bad at them. I can't do a Trump. I can't do anybody.
What do you mean? I'm so bad at it.
No, but yours is better than I would do.
Wow.
You do a good Cajun, though.
Yeah, I do accents really well.
I'm jealous.
I can do accent. I can do like almost any Southern dialect,
Okay.
but I suck at impressions.
Yeah. I'm like, I can be okay if I've been around the person a lot. I could do it.
I can do an exaggerated form of it, but the thing is I'm tone deaf. I literally can't hear pitch and tone sometimes. So when I'm doing an impression of somebody, I can't recreate the tone of their voice because I literally can't hear it.
Interesting. Do you have an internal monologue?
All the time.
Can you see pictures in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Some people can't do it.
Yeah. I can see. I can vividly paint pictures.
What do you mean you can't see? You can't hear pitch though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like so you're
So
explain.
Like rhythm, tone, like a lot of those things. It kind of like it misses me. Like you'll notice if I'm nodding my head, I'm usually off rhythm, and it's just because like I'm literally tone deaf. But I'm not the only person. You know who else was?
Who?
Lead singer of Linkin Park.
Wow.
He had a special thing in his ear all the time.
Is that why he? Sorry.
Probably.
No, please.
Probably. Being tone deaf is, people don't talk about the struggles that we face. Okay. We face them serious.
No, I get that because I guess not everyone can like just start playing in a song if like everyone was playing an instrument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's left brain and right brain, right? Isn't that like, I'm an idiot. So I'm not the person to talk on this. But I'm sure it's like the difference between which side of the brain you use more.
John likes putting things in camps. He keeps telling me I'm type A, he's type B. he likes putting people in cages.
You
That's what
like
he likes to do.
labels?
He likes putting them.
First off, don't ever say, I look like me, okay? I can't ever put people in cages.
That's true.
That's
He
valid.
can't talk about cages.
No, I'm not even allowed to say the word cage.
Yeah, let's cut that actually.
Unless I'm talking about Mortal Kombat. Then I'm cool. But other than that,
Or Nick.
If John wants to buy a cage, he needs to prove of the dog.
I'm going to show adoption papers for my Cocker Spaniel so I can buy a cage. It puts the lotion on the skin or I buy a cage again. Oh, man. So you grew up affluent in Venezuela. Was it the same in Houston? Did you guys have money in Houston?
I mean, yeah, but not like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Did you
I
still
can't
have
just,
like a nanny?
No.
Okay.
I can't just like spend whatever I want. I have to have an uncomfortable conversation if I want to borrow money.
Okay.
I have to make promises
You have to pay back.
sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah.
In other words, you have to lie about when you're going to pay back.
No, I usually do keep my promises, but yeah, I can't just, some rich people just like spend whatever. I can't just do that. It's for like emergencies.
That's Black Friday. It's an emergency. You say to somebody, I've got 2 daughters. You know what I mean? Like, I I could show you. Hold on. Let's just do this real quick because this is fun.
I have asked for Black Friday money before, and I'm not ashamed.
This is my conversation with my middle child. Okay, look at all the Apple Pays.
She wants money too.
Look at all the Apple Pays. There's so many.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's what being a girl dad is.
He is a girl dad.
Oh, I am a girl dad. I can braid hair. I can do the ponies. I learned the weird little hack with a vacuum cleaner and ponytails. You ever seen that?
No.
No.
You take the tube of the vacuum cleaner and just suck the hair up in it and slide the hair tie down.
Oh.
Does that work?
It actually works if
Is
you got a
that
strong
not
enough vacuum.
Damaging to, hair follicles?
I'm not worried about that.
No?
No.
Take your hat off?
I pay money to get the hair done. Okay. It'd be all right. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best tipper in the world.
Oh, well.
We'll ask Grace about that one
Should
day.
we call her?
I think I do okay.
So are your parents still together?
Yes, my parents are together.
So you guys all came here together whenever you moved to Houston?
Yes.
Nice.
But we came here because the doctors in Venezuela said my mom had 4 months to live. And then my parents didn't tell us anything. The next week, we just moved to America randomly.
Did she start going to like a specific hospital?
Yeah, there's like a good medical center in Houston.
Yeah.
So she would go there, and then they didn't really tell me I was eavesdropping. So.
They still haven't told you to this day?
Oh no, I crashed out when they said it. I was like, "What do you mean?" You know?
Oh, when you had to leave Venezuela?
No, like when we were in America, and I overheard them talking about why we really moved there. Yeah.
So you didn't know?
No.
Did they give you any reasoning at all? They were just
like, we're moving to America.
Yeah. They were like, you speak English now.
Oh.
Damn.
Did you?
No, it took me like 4 months to like get by
Wow.
and I had like this little translator that I would take with me.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Macaulay Culkin's thing in New York and Home Alone 2. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The talk back.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. What was that like? What was that experience like for you when you're like coming into a country not knowing the language? It had to be really hard to connect, right?
Yeah, I wasn't ready for all the racist bullying.
That was my next question.
But I was excited at first because I was like obsessed with High School Musical, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna date a white guy. And
You thought you were gonna dance into high school and like
yeah,
Zac Efron was gonna slam dunk your heart?
yes. And I thought I was gonna have a top locker. Never did.
Damn.
But
Oh man,
1 year
expectations.
my friend switched me.
And you got the top locker for a little bit?
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Aw,
That's really nice.
Yeah.
that is really nice. Did you go to a public school or private school?
Well, at first I went to public school, and then sophomore year I went to rehab, and then I got sent to one of those troubled teen programs.
Okay. I've been in a troubled teen program myself.
Like the boarding school?
Mine was state funded, and I talked about it with Rachel Wilson when she was on.
Okay.
But because she went to a Lutheran one, and mine was a wilderness camp, and I lived outside for 13 months, 1 week, and 4 days.
Damn. They made us do that every summer,
Yeah.
but for 4 weeks outside.
Yeah, we had to have we built our own tents. So we would like cut down pine trees, and some were built like by the campers previous from us, but we'd have to tear down one every couple years and rebuild it. And
Damn.
so there was when I was there, I think we built 2 or 3 tents or something like that. And it was literally you just cut down a pine tree, you skin it with a draw blade, and then
What the hell?
you scrub it with bleach.
You guys are bringing bleach in the wilderness?
Into the wilderness, dude. Did not give a shit. Would bleach it, and then you put the posts in, and then you got to screw, and then you put all the rafters up, and it's a whole thing, and then you wrap it in tarp, and that's what we slept in.
Damn.
Yeah, it was wild.
They were like, portable tent? Fuck them.
No. Yeah. It was ran by like Boy Scouts of America. That was like their curriculum that we used.
Were they in the Epstein files?
I think so. I'm pretty sure at least half the
Hard
camp
not to be,
was in the Epstein. What was your at-risk teen facility like?
So our like punishment would be one of those two. So if you were bad there, you might get taken overnight and taken to one of those places. But we had to be there every day except Sunday. And then we all went to this sober high school. We just got drug tested, and like first period was about feelings. And
It's like the exact opposite of Euphoria.
yeah. The exact opposite. Well, people were crazy. They let us smoke cigarettes. You could go down and be like, I'm stressed, I want to smoke a cigarette. And they'll be like, okay.
And where was this? Houston?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of checks out.
I'm gonna sign up
It
tomorrow.
was right in front of the medical center at this church called Palmer. And the medical center hated us. They were like, why are there teenagers smoking in front of our building?
Aren't they supposed to be getting better?
Also, why do these kids have 1,000-yard stare? And why is that one twitching so much?
He has blood on his hands.
Yeah. And then like there was like a homeless, like feeding the homeless thing downstairs. I've been forgetting words because I haven't slept. But and sometimes when people wanted to relapse, they would just go down and get high with a homeless man.
Wow.
The statement of sometimes whenever they wanted to relapse is a crazy statement too.
Yeah.
I just feel like relapsing.
And you know what? It's Wednesday. It's been a couple days. I'm going to go see One-Eyed Joe down there with the gimpy leg. We're going to slam some H, and I'm going to come back up and we're going to restart. All right?
He makes this
Yeah.
thing called stew. It's not good. Right?
You actually shoot up with a Dinty Moore can. It's pretty fucking impressive.
I trust him.
He
He's
knows
okay.
me at this point. We're friends. That's why. Did you make any friends when you were there? Like,
Yeah, I still talk to some of them.
I would say that's kind of like a trauma bonding experience.
Yeah, wait, have you met my friend Kaylee?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. I thought you had. Yeah, I made some friends. A lot of people did die, which was sad or is sad.
A lot of like, after?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, because everyone went to that school, but then everyone had to be in a sober program. So you would go to school and then you would go do like, they would make us do such weird shit, but like therapy stuff. But yeah, and then we would go home at like 9 p.m. And then Fridays we had to have girls and guys night. And then Saturday we had to go to a all city meeting at 10 a.m.
What was an all city meeting?
All the groups got together and had this huge AA meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in the AA meeting, people would say like insane things.
I could only imagine the things that you would hear at an AA meeting for teenagers in Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to share? Like, it's been long enough, and you don't have to give anybody's name. You got any good ones?
Yeah. One time, this guy wrote an honesty list that they would make us do. They would make us do like all these weird things. I can mention them later, but he made us. They made him do an honesty list. So he was like saying all these fucked up stuff he did, and at the end, he's like, "Yeah, and I jacked off to this girl. This girl said like all the girls except one girl." And then the next meeting, the girl was sharing and she's like, I'm really depressed because that guy didn't jack off to me.
Reason for relapse was not a fantasy of a drug addict.
That was actually his plan all along.
I mean,
Jesus, that is some top tier nagging, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
diabolical. That's some Joker level stuff.
but I mean, people would just share insane stuff, like fucked up things, like
Yeah.
things that you would be like, why am I talking to you right now?
I share that in
So-
random conversation.
What was it that you said? You said guys and girls?
Oh, guys and girls
what's
night
that?
on Fridays. We would have to pick like, so while we were having the all city meeting, the parents were in a different room, and there they would be like, if you guys don't do this, your kids are gonna die, and like all this crazy stuff. So
And then they would have a huge ceremonial orgy, and
I did hear the cult leader would hook up with the moms, and he was never sober. That's what I heard.
oh,
So yeah,
wait, cult leader.
Yeah.
it was basically a cult. Texas was investigating them. I was the snitch. I went to I talked to this detective and I like went to a government building and like they did the recording thing and I had to send photos
About
with
the
like
school?
names, Epstein file style, about the
cow.
group and the school and the whole thing.
Holy shit.
This was
Yeah.
after like this, or because you said you went there like every summer?
So no, I had to be there. I was there from like 16 to 19, basically.
Okay.
So you didn't even get to leave as an adult.
No, people stayed till like 24.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
He knew all the loopholes. Like it wasn't considered a cult because you awaken, which means you don't have to be in the group, but then people would like still be in it, just in a different way, but like still involved.
and did you end up in this program like through the state? Like how did
Because of rehab.
Okay, so
They would come recruit the kids in rehab.
you were like feeling it and you went to your parents about it, or was it the opposite?
Yeah, it was like that.
You went to your parents? Mm-hmm. And you wanted to like to do it because it seemed dope?
Yeah, I mean, all the other kids in rehab were doing it. And
I feel like that's like a very
Listen.
like plausible reason to join a cult.
listen, I was fat and this guy had a crush on me and I would do anything at that point.
I joined a cult for some.
So it's like, you want to be in a cult? Me too.
Where's the Kool-Aid? Oh man, that's crazy. So
But they like do come. So it was based on like AA.
okay,
So they had steps you had to work through, but like they would switch up the AA steps a little bit. Like, are you familiar?
I'm familiar with the 12 steps.
Okay, they would make the second step, stick with winners in order to grow. So if you didn't hang out with like the most brainwashed people, they would like make your life hell. Like they would get you kicked out of your house. They would put you like they would put you on like these random commitments. Like they just break down your personality. Like let's say like, I don't know, like I like to do my makeup and dress up. They would be like, for 60 days, you cannot wear any makeup and you have to dress ugly. And you had to do it. And then they would make people do 90 and 60. It was like you had to go to 3 meetings, AA meetings a day. And they would make kids like sleep at Denny's and like if they like missed curfew, and sometimes kids would have to sleep in like homeless shelters. And yeah.
Holy shit.
A counselor statutory raped a kid and they got caught having sex at a church, and the cult leader got her off. He has like weird like connections like FBI and stuff.
Holy
Yeah.
Dulce, I was not expecting. This is not what I.
No, not at all. Completely left field.
I wasn't expecting teenage rehab cult. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
That's tight.
I actually got interviewed by the US Sun about it. And while we were investigating it, there was like a weird cult called The Family, and the guy Kirk was in it. And the family,
I've heard of the family.
Yeah, I
they
have too.
run all, like not all, but like they're involved in like the boarding schools and the wilderness, like all like weird teenage and like other cult shit.
Yeah, I've heard of the family. I think they're also involved in like some levels of government conspiracy as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. That's, yeah. You got to let me unpack that for a minute,
All right.
because I've got a lot of questions. And I mean,
I'll drink some water.
All right, hold on. Wait, I know you're enjoying the episode. Just give us just a minute. We just had a quick thing we want to tell you about. First off, if you're watching the episode and you're liking it, thank you so much. We love you. Keep watching. We're almost done. Just make sure, if you've got the time, go hit that subscribe button, like, comment, do all the things you got to do to make us the best podcast that we're trying to be. I believe Colt has one more thing he wants to tell you.
Guys, I got some big news, okay? The big news is that John and I are coming up with a whole new show. We already have it all put together, but we need your help to do it. The name of the show is Who's Your Tammy, where we're going to have you guys, our loyal fans, write into the show. Tell us about your crazy childhoods, good and bad. What'd your parents do? Did they not feed you? Did they feed you too much? Did you have good Christmases, bad Christmases? Tell us all about it. Email us at tammy'sboypodcast@gmail.com, and we will read your stories on the air, and we'll break them down.
Feel free. If you want to keep it anonymous, keep it anonymous. You don't have to tell us your name. Your identity can remain a complete secret. But your stories, that's what we want. So please, send us those stories. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the episode.
So, okay. So this was all going on. By the time that you were doing the investigation stuff, you were no longer actually going to the program anymore.
You had left.
I was.
So you were still in the program.
So you were like a double
You were like
agent.
undercover.
Yeah, because I wanted to awaken so they wouldn't bother me. I could be like, I awaken, I'm leaving,
Yeah.
Because then they would just bother me for a little and then they would leave me alone, probably.
I've been in relationships like that.
But yeah, so I was like going there and I was trying to get other people to talk and they were like, no, we're scared. And the detective was like, no one else is talking. Like, I can't do anything. And then the cult leader just like switched stuff on the website to like, I don't know, it was some loophole in it where he didn't get in trouble.
Do you think you indoctrinated into it at all, or do you think you resisted from day one?
No, I resisted from day one, and then I was really into it. And then at the end, I was just kind of fighting the cult leader every day.
Okay. Did you crash out on him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we would have screaming matches.
Dulce.
And then at the end, I would just let him scream, and I would stare into his eyes like this.
Dulce, here's the thing.
I've awoken.
Okay. I've known you for a long time now, and I've always known there was something. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean some edge to you that I couldn't quite figure out. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I know you're tough. Like I could feel it being around you, just knowing you for as long as I have. I know you're tough. I never knew you were stare down cult leader and scream at a cult leader tough. Like that never dawned on me.
Because his strategy worked in reverse for me.
Oh, so instead,
like everyone,
instead of being awoke, you went the fuck to sleep.
yeah, because like they would make us do a lot of like therapy stuff to like fuck with our head, and then they would make us do this thing called second stage to help us think for ourselves. But it was kind of really like, oh, here, we're giving you all of this, but you still choose to be here. So this is like your choice because you're thinking for yourself.
That's like a toxic relationship.
Yeah. And I actually can do therapy a lot because I like go ahead from the therapist.
Huh.
Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this because of this and like whatever. Because they would make us overanalyze like our trauma and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So rather than just study it, you just be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. Because I can get too analytical in my brain too and break down everything. Because when I went to the camp, one of the things we had to do was when somebody like did something like, so I was like, fuck you, Colt. We had to form a huddle, and then I had to take responsibility for that action and explain, what that kind of behavior can lead to.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I think doing that kind of saved me later on in life, especially when it came to stepdads, because I kind of learned in a way like that none of my, parents or anybody ever took responsibility for what they did.
Right.
It was always blamed on someone else. And I didn't really realize that until I went to the camp where I'm like, oh wait, not everything's my fault. Hold on.
Yeah. I
So
get that.
there were good things that came from it, but also, when I do go to therapy and I talk to therapists and stuff, yeah, some of that shit gets revisited because the camp itself is traumatic.
Right.
Like the other campers and like there was gang members and kids
God.
yeah, it was
Gang members with kids?
Well, I mean, there were kids. But they were in gangs.
The kids were
Kid
gang.
gangs.
Okay. I imagine like a really old Mexican man.
No, these are North Carolina gangs, okay?
Okay. So they were hot.
They call us the corn cobs.
Oh, man.
No, wilderness would be, traumatizing. But yeah.
It was interesting. I got targeted as gay because I looked down a
Really?
lot. So everybody always thought I was looking at their dicks, and I was. But, that's not important. That part's not important. The important part is I wasn't gay. I was just curious. I was just curious. I was wondering what everybody's meat pole was packing. You know what I mean? I was just like curious kid. But at the end of the day, I recognized that was wrong. I might have wanted to look up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. So that helped you too.
yeah, awareness, right?
Yeah,
I
to
learned
look up.
awareness. I learned not to meat stare. And I mean, hey, I was raised by a single mom that was a bit of a whore. Of course I'm going to look at dicks. You know what I mean? Like, it was like my mom's arts and crafts.
You see John now, he's
True.
just constantly looking straight up into the sun.
Genetic Tammy behavior.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. But no, ours was there were elements about it that I will admit were therapeutic. Like I said, taking responsibility, learning that you're not responsible for someone else's behavior, they are. Those kind of things help.
Yeah.
But also, depression's depression. And when you're older, man, it's like you forget a lot of the shit that you've learned when you're depressed. And it's like all these coping mechanisms that you might have learned early on, that shit can just go wayside real quick. And so while it has helped me at certain points in my life, there's other points in my life where I'm just like, I don't remember that shit.
Oh, for sure. I'm like, I will lay here for 4 days.
You're looking at the throne of my depression.
This would be really hard to get out of.
It is Herculean, to say the least. I will you can ask Colt. There's many a days.
I've had to pull him off of there a few times.
Yeah.
Damn.
He did today, actually.
It's like Velcro.
Yeah, I just I get comfy.
They
And-
did kind of make us do like a circle truth thing at school once, but it was like a funny thing. Someone deleted System 32 from the computers downstairs because we did a lot of school online.
Okay.
So they made us do a truth circle for a week, and no one said who it was ever. But then people just started like saying other stuff they did, like to get it off their chest. And then like years later, I posted on Facebook. I was like, please, who deleted System 30, 22, 32, whatever. And this guy was like, it was me. But he didn't even go there. He like didn't go there anymore. Like, he used to go there, and then I think got like kicked out.
That was like an act of retribution.
Yeah, but we all loved it because we didn't have to do school.
So he deleted it from the main system, and you never had to do it again?
No, it took them like a few days to bring it back.
Damn.
But he gave you 3 days apiece.
Yeah, the guy was like, who did this? Like, they really deleted the whole
That's
thing.
so impressive.
Yeah.
I think I would just try to be friends with that guy. Like, I would hit him up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, how you been? Remember when you just saved us from school for 3 days? So I'm back like 6,000 on taxes. How you feeling about that? you feeling real Robin Hoodie today, buddy?
That would be nice. A hacker friend.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah. Can you do anything?
Not yet. I don't know.
Okay.
But money talks. So, and I'm a quick learner.
He's like, listen, I'll pick up on some algorithmic equations real quick. You throw enough money my way. That's the way I feel about homosexuality. Throw enough money my way.
Back to the gay stuff.
Actually, all of Tammy's kids, we have a really big, we have big news for you. Go ahead, John.
So the OnlyFans version of Tammy's Boy is coming out real soon. That's crazy. Both in camps. But yours was different. Yours was like...
Yeah, this is
and
strange.
And did they receive any state funding or anything? Or was it all privately funded?
They would just take money from the parents mostly.
Okay. How much? Do you know how much it was?
So they had this thing called outpatient, which it was just listening to the collator for 4 hours every day. But it was $150 an hour. I know that. And
And you're there for like a month, a year?
like almost 4
3
years.
Oh, you weren't there only in the summers. You were
No,
strictly
I
there.
was there all the time. Yeah.
So you lived there.
I didn't sleep in on a Saturday for 4 years. They would like to make us do the most, so we were tired, you know?
Mm-hmm. You didn't sleep in on a Saturday.
No, never. They would make us do all this weird shit, like winter one-on-ones, love circles, fun felonies.
Did everybody have to wear a certain amount of clothes?
No, it just depended, like if you were in a commitment or not.
So your wardrobe would change based on your commitment?
Yeah, or what they wanted you to wear.
And
Like commitment to the...
No, like when I said earlier, like, oh, we don't like that, you're doing too much of this. Like,
Yes.
no, like that stuff. But you could wear like whatever you wanted.
okay.
Yeah.
What was life? What was life like when you left that place? Like, what was your readjustment like?
Oh, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that were in it died because they became like raging drug addicts or prostitutes. And then, I mean, sometimes it still affects me today, but you know, what are you gonna do? But when I first left, it was a culture shock. Like I got a regular job and just talking was weird. Like, because I was used to like saying like fucked up things in casual conversation or
Yeah.
like too much like intimate stuff, I guess. So I was kind of like quiet and just observing like how normal people act.
When you were in the cult, did you have like a group of friends that also hated the cult?
Yeah, I helped my friend Nicole escape.
You helped her escape?
Kinda, yeah. She was like, we had a one-on-one. We had to have like 4 a day, which is like you just went to talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just like talking, and then she started crying. She's like, I want to leave. And I was like, just leave right now. I'm not gonna tell anyone. I was like, don't come back. Fuck this place. And she literally just left. And everyone was like, where's Nicole? I was like, I have no idea.
Yes, a good homie. You were like a G, dude. Like you're
She's on her way to Beaumont.
you're snitching on cults. You're freeing your friends.
Yeah, I was kind of like the mom for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, saved a lot of people from overdosing. Lots of speeding on the freeway. Because my friend had, when I was 16, told me if you put your hazards on, they can't pull you over. So I would drive really fast.
With your hazards on?
It's not untrue. You can act as an ambulance. I don't know if people know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You
got an
Damn,
injured
she
person
was
in the car.
onto something.
I mean, listen, buddy, if I've got 2 people in the car, one person better be able to fake some kind of injury.
I got you.
Next time I'm late for recording a podcast, just hit the hazards. Faking a stomach injury.
Yeah. That sounds good. Oh, if anybody hears me coughing during this episode, I just quit smoking. 5 days. So, you know, we're coughing some weird stuff up lately.
Yeah, he's told us like 5 times. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're proud of him. It's a big thing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good job,
I still
John.
will have a cigarette sometimes. That's what I'm giving up next. The random cigarette.
Yeah. I can't touch it at all, even when I'm not.
I was going to ask, can you like ever just have one cigarette or okay.
One cigarette will lead me back to 15 American Spirit packs be floating around in my car at any given time, empty.
Yeah, that's too much.
I know. I love cigarettes. I love them. I worked in tobacco fields at 9 years old.
Can you
okay?
watch
I am tobacco.
movies with cigarettes?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I've got, the nicotine gum is nice and those kind of things.
Okay.
Just for the nicotine. So like the chemical isn't as bad. It's more the mental. But I mean, honestly, once I start feeling better, it gets easier.
Right.
That fourth or fifth day, like I actually feel like I have energy again, and like I'm starting to like make plans for my health again and do those things. 'Cause when I smoke, I get depressed about smoking because I don't want to be a smoker.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That makes sense. Well, now you're not a smoker.
Now I'm a non-smoker now.
Now you're retired.
I am. So life after the cult.
Yeah. So during this time, how often were you seeing your parents?
I did move in with this like family for a bit downtown, but I was like in contact with them. They just probably thought I was really weird.
Your parents.
Yeah. Well, like one time the one of the counselors, because they had like therapists that worked there, and they called my parents in and told my dad to kick me out of the house or something, because I didn't want to do the outpatient thing, like where you go in and like talk to the cult leader for
So
hours.
they wanted your dad to remove you from the house.
Yeah, they were like, she needs to be like kicked out to learn or whatever. And my dad was like, as long as I live, none of my children will be on the streets. He's
Hell
like, you're
yeah,
fucking
Dad.
retarded. Yeah.
But did that lead to the exit?
No, this was kind of at the beginning. And then,
wow.
I was like fighting with my mom a lot. So I moved in with my friend downtown.
Okay.
She like lived in the hood and it was different, but
Did you relapse after the cult? I'm just kind of wondering.
yes, I relapsed like a week after.
Yeah.
It was with weed though. The first time I smoked with my boyfriend and I got the spins and I just laid in the bathroom. But then he was gone, so I was by myself and it was perfect. So I just smoked a tiny bit of a blunt and I was just eating chips and I was like, this feels right.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
But I didn't drink a lot until after the divorce. Then I became a drinker, I guess.
I forget that you were married.
Yep.
That's also, Dulce, you've had quite the life.
I know. I saw his clip today. It was some comic. I forget his name, but he's like, sorry, everything I'm saying is bad. I thought you wanted to get to know me or whatever. Like everything. He said it way better, but he's like, I'm just telling you about myself. Like, and I was like, okay, me.
Yeah, I relate to that. Holy shit. Sometimes the Walmart cashier catches a stray or two, dude.
Yeah, they're like, what was your mom like? And you're like, well, let's
she
get
beat
some
me
drinks.
on aisle 6 a bunch. Yeah. Parents are still. Do you think your parents have a good marriage?
Yes, they're obsessed with each other. I haven't really heard them arguing, like yelling ever. Yeah.
And your mom doesn't seem like she argues with anybody anymore.
No. She complains a lot.
Do you find that disingenuous, the person she is now? Like the change?
No, I think she means it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was weird at first.
Was it hard to accept?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was just like night and day from what you knew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's the weird thing. I don't know if it's forced growth or if it's like, a flashbang of growth, whatever the term. I don't know what the terminology would be, but I've seen it where it's like somebody just wakes up one day and they make a cognitive decision to just be different.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a beautiful, cool thing about humanity is that we literally get to choose our own reality every day. So I could literally tomorrow decide, hey, I want to go be a Tibetan monk. And I could
That's true, and you could do it.
I could go become a Tibetan monk. We literally are the masters of our own reality. And while some of those huge transformations, I think sometimes I question them, right? Because it's like, how are you going to go from that to this that quick? But sometimes it's just a matter of escalation. It's a matter of that escalating to the point where you're so tired of it or you're so in need of change that doesn't matter as much as this.
Right. You just want to feel better.
You want to feel better.
Lighter.
Absolutely. And so you try to pull in those things that make you feel better. And I find beauty in the fact that, people don't worry about judgment sometimes from where they find that. You know, sometimes people find it in cults.
Yeah.
And cults are bad for probably like 90%. But I imagine there's 10% that cults are probably pretty good for.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know where I'm going with that. I think I just went pro cult, and I don't know why.
Why you're
bit, yeah.
circling back, but me and Kim
Get him off the couch. Get him off the couch.
me and Kim are starting a cult if you're interested.
Of course.
It's basically friendship, but we're gonna say it's a cult so people can join or would want to.
Gotta like sex it up a little bit. Friendship isn't enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got it.
Soul bond?
Yes, let's all soul bond.
We're all going to soul bond.
Soul soldering.
We're going to listen to Kumbaya in this tune of from clarinet, G minor, Kenny G.
And read her tweets out loud.
As positive affirmations. Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
I do, but we don't talk.
Okay. Are they close
Another
with your
trauma. Yeah, he's close with my parents. We're both, it's like me and him are divorced and my parents are not.
Okay.
Like different Christmases.
You guys,
I did it last time. I'm cool. He's still mad at me.
Your sibling.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a man. He's like 2 years younger than me. But when I was married, I mean, my ex was like insane. And they got like into a fight, and I do not know what my ex said, but it was bad enough to not talk to me ever again. So, but what my brother said was also bad, and he did it publicly.
so he's not even mad at you for you. He's
No.
mad at you for him.
Initially, and then after, he's like, I hate you.
You caught the stray because of association.
Big stray. I've tried everything. I've like reached out to his girlfriends. One time I made a new profile and he blocked me in like 2 minutes. I don't know how he found it. My parents, I've tried to like be like, oh, just talk to her. He's like, no. But we did have Christmas together like 2 years ago, and then I think one time he asked my parents if I was gonna be performing at a show because him and his friends were going, and he didn't want to make me uncomfortable. So we'll see. Maybe he'll talk to me again.
Wow. What do you think that olive branch what do you think it's going to take?
I don't know. Maybe I'll get Joe Rogan to message him.
Is he a Rogan fan?
Probably.
He's my brother and he's a dick, so it's possible. Oh, that's great. Don't say it's so fucking funny. Oh, man. Well, I hope that you guys are able to figure it out.
He looks white, though. I think that's the issue, too.
He looks white. Oh,
Yeah.
it sucks. I'm telling you.
But he has like a really thick accent, like Francisco.
Well, that's not fair.
What, looking white and having a thick accent, and I look brown and I don't have a thick accent?
Yeah. You sound more American than I do.
I really try.
I don't.
Dude, the other day, so I roll my R's like if I'm like I have to make a conscious decision to do it, because then if I do it while I'm like speaking like this, I'll mess up like the next few words because I'm like switching the way I'm talking. I don't know. But the other day I said like to Grace like, oh, it's like blah, 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 Ramirez or something. And she goes, that was unnecessary.
Ramirez. That's hilarious. That's too much. Okay, dial down the ethnicity by about like 37%. We can just say Ramirez. That's all we need. That's all we need. I'm also tired. I didn't sleep much either.
Really? No one slept last night.
Yeah, we think it's the moon or something.
But the full moon was like 2 days ago.
So it's a waning moon.
Oh, you know the moon phases like that?
Mm.
Damn.
I know.
You ran through.
That's such a funny sign that that's true.
You're like,
That truth hurts. Yeah.
he's like, the moon is an Aquarius, babe. Let's not argue tonight.
How do you know you've been with a lot of women that have hairy underarms?
True.
Yeah, you know if it's waxing or waning. because they're definitely not waxing.
Clip that.
All right, we always close this with I like helping other parents because I feel like parenting's a hard job, and I've only seen like maybe a handful of people actually do it right, and I don't even know what right is.
That's true.
So that's the thing, and that's why I always ask every guest, if you had one piece of advice to give to every parent out there based on your own personal childhood experience, what do you think that would be?
Just keep them alive, have their back, even if they're wrong publicly, and be loving and understanding. Seek to understand rather than be understood.
Love that.
Yeah. I do want to be a parent. I want to be pregnant. It's going to be great.
Do you want a boy or a girl?
I want 2 boys, 1 girl, but I'll settle for a boy.
Nice.
You sure you're not from China?
Dude, I don't want to help a girl go through like a guy not texting her back, because when you're going through it, you're like, this is so like, this makes so much sense. But when someone else, you're helping someone else, is like,
oh, I know.
Sorry. Hey, if I have to do it, I'll do it to the best, but
I get that. I'll do it I get that. Yeah. It's, each kid of mine has presented different challenges. And I think that what I've learned the most, just as being their dad, is there's times to be as sensitive as you possibly can. And there's times to be a little less understanding. And I think that through life, you just have to, and through your kids, you just have to learn when those times are. And that's one of the most important pieces of parenting. It's just, sometimes it's just reading the room.
True.
It's just reading the fucking room. Like the other day, I took my daughter to a coffee stand, and she wanted to go to Starbucks, right? And so we pull up, and I'm like, hey, we're not going to fucking Starbucks. We're going to go to this coffee stand, called Sorrento's. It's dope. I like it. Okay? We're going to go there. And so we go there, and I pull up, and I'm like, hey, listen, this one really wanted Starbucks. All right. Do you have anything that's remotely like a Frappuccino? Mm-hmm. And they're like, say less. And as soon as they left, my daughter's like, don't do that. Don't like call me out in front of people. Like, that sucks. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad. You know what I mean? That's like, I didn't mean to, I don't want to push your boundaries. I didn't know that was a boundary.
Right.
But now that we've established that it is, guess what? I'm going to correct that behavior, and we're not going to make you uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah, it's that easy.
It's that easy. And I wish and pray to God that one of my stepdads would have done that once. Just once. Just one time. Just 1 ounce of understanding. Try to accept me for the fact that I want to be an actor and not a Confederate reenactor.
Well, I hope all your stepdads get nightmares tonight.
Well, I've already hoped that they have gonorrhea, so now they're going to have nightmares and gonorrhea, and I'm going to be a happy boy.
Wait, did you get gonorrhea?
No.
Oh. I'm just wondering.
All right, y'all, this has been Tammy's Boy. Perfect way to close it. I have not had gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, or herpes. For anybody that's watching that wants to be a future friend of mine. This has been Tammy's Boy. You got anything coming up that you want to, this is probably going to come out in like a month.
Oh, okay. I don't know yet. Follow me on Instagram, Dulce Mac.
Instagram, Dulce Mac. You know me, it's Jon Carden. That's Cole Garrett. This has been Tammy's Boy. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing, doing that whole thing. And we'll keep doing what we're doing, trying to make this the best podcast in the whole damn world.
Damn right.
Thank you guys so much. This has been Tammy's Boy. See you later.